Have you ever wondered how two superpowers can be in a massive conflict, yet their soldiers never actually fight each other directly? It sounds like something out of a spy movie, but it's a very real and common thing in international politics. This is the world of proxy wars, and today we're going to break down exactly what they are, how they work, and why they've shaped so much of modern history. So, what is a proxy war? Imagine two big, powerful neighbors who really dislike each other. Let's call them Alex and Ben. They both want to be the most influential person on their street. But they know that a direct fight would be disastrous. It would be costly, messy, and could escalate into something truly awful for everyone involved. So, instead of fighting each other, Alex decides to support a smaller neighbor, Charlie, who is having a dispute with another neighbor, Dana. Alex gives Charlie resources, money, and advice. At the same time, Ben, seeing what Alex is doing, decides to back Dana with his own resources. Now, Charlie and Dana are the ones in a direct conflict, but they are fighting on behalf of Alex and Ben. That, in a nutshell, is a proxy war. The proxies are the smaller groups or nations doing the actual fighting. The major powers are the ones pulling the strings from behind the scenes, providing weapons, funding, military training, or intelligence. They use these smaller conflicts to achieve their own strategic goals without risking a direct full-scale war. These goals could be anything from gaining geopolitical influence and controlling valuable resources to weakening a rival or promoting a certain political ideology. The classic example of this is the Cold War. For decades, the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a global struggle for dominance. But they never went to war directly, mainly because both sides had nuclear weapons, and a direct conflict could have meant the end of the world. So, instead, they fought proxy wars all over the globe. Take the Vietnam War, for instance. It was a civil war between North and South Vietnam, but on a larger scale, it was a proxy conflict. The Soviet Union and China backed the communist North Vietnam, supplying them with tanks, planes, and advisors. Meanwhile, the United States and its allies heavily supported South Vietnam with troops, funding, and equipment. The soldiers on the ground were Vietnamese, but the superpowers were using the conflict to fight for their respective ideologies: communism versus capitalism. Another example is the Soviet-Afghan War in the 1980s, when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan to support its communist government. The United States didn't send in its own army. Instead, it secretly funded and armed the local Afghan resistance fighters, known as the Mujahideen, through a program called Operation Cyclone. For the US, it was a way to bog the Soviets down in a costly and demoralizing war, often called the Soviet Union's Vietnam. The Afghans were fighting for their country, but they were also proxies in the larger Cold War chess match. Proxy wars are incredibly complex and often have devastating consequences for the countries where they are fought. They can prolong conflicts for years, even decades, leading to immense suffering and destruction for the local population who are caught in the middle. The countries become battlegrounds for foreign powers, and the scars, both physical and political, can last for generations. Once the major powers lose interest and move on, these nations are often left shattered and unstable. Even today, proxy wars continue to be a major feature of international relations. Conflicts in places like Syria and Yemen have seen various regional and global powers backing different factions, turning civil wars into multi-layered proxy battlegrounds. It's a way for nations to compete for influence in a world where direct great power war is seen as too risky. So, the next time you hear about a civil war or a regional conflict, it's always worth asking who is backing whom and what are their real motives. Understanding the concept of a proxy war is key to understanding how our world works. Thanks for watching. If you found this explanation helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more simple explanations of complex topics. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see explained next. See you in the next video.